The American asylum system depends on a central promise that people fleeing persecution can safely, confidentially tell their stories. A new lawsuit alleges the Trump administration has broken that promise by sharing confidential information about Iranian asylum seekers with the Iranian government. The suit claims that U.S. immigration agencies disclose sensitive information from asylum applications to Iranian officials during efforts to deport Iranian nationals. Information including allegations of persecution based on religious conversion, sexual orientation, and participation in Iran's 2022 Women, Life, Freedom protests, which could lead to retaliation or worse against the immigrants and families forced to return to Iran. Let's bring in Ali Rahnama, Interim Executive Director of the Iranian American Legal Defense Fund, the plaintiff in this lawsuit. It's great to have you, Ali. So tell me, what started this suit and how did you even discover that this was happening?
Thank you for having me. The people in detention facilities told me Iranian American Legal Defense Fund provides services to Iranian asylum seekers who have come to the United States but have been dealing with prolonged detention right now. These are people who ran away from the Iranian regime, one of the most brutal regimes on the planet right now. This is the same regime that killed tens of thousands of protesters a few months ago, point blank, pro-democracy protesters. And this is the same regime that up to this point in 2026 has executed over 850 people. The State Department's country condition that came out in 2025 explains that Iran has one of the worst the records of human rights violations. Now, these asylum seekers who are freedom-loving people, many of them were pro-democracy participants in the Women, Life, Freedom movement. Others are Christian converts who ran away from Iran, and some are members of the LGBTQ community who would be tortured or killed if they would be sent back to Iran. And in one of, go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say, your suit, there are so many fascinating and alarming details in the suit. But one of the things I found interesting was that it alleges that these disclosures to the Iranian government continued even after the U.S. and Iran went to war. What would the rationale for that be, for the U.S. to coordinate with Iranian IRGC officials in the midst of a war at a time when the U.S. claims to be protecting people like those that you just described, people who are pro-democracy, people who are Christian?
Well, what has happened that the U.S. has established this policy that they want to get rid of Iranian asylum seekers. It started as part of an agreement that came about in March of 2025 between the Iranian government and the U.S. government. The U.S. government reaches out to the Iranian interest section in Washington. There is a meeting at the State Department in March of 2025. And during that meeting, the State Department official tells the Iranians that they want to get rid of every Iranian in detention facility and ask them for their help. And because of that, a few things have happened. One is that ICE and the U.S. government have allowed the agents of the Iranian regime to go to ICE facilities and directly talk to asylum seekers. While the asylum seekers reporting to me told me that the agent of the Iran regime, knew their names, their information, and where they are in their asylum case. Another thing that has happened is that there have been monthly meetings by ICE agents and the Iranian regime passing on documents and information. The last of which, as we understand it, was in February of 2025. But throughout the whole process since March of 2025, the U.S. government has mailed in documents of asylum seekers and detainees to Iranian regime in Washington. And that has continued throughout the war. And there is another flight, based on my understanding, being prepared as we speak, another mass deportation flight. As we speak, there's another one is being prepped up for the end of July. And these have to be stopped. And what we're asking the U.S. government is to act legally in this manner, meaning that they should not share confidential information of asylum seekers with the regime they ran away from. And also for the people whom they have wronged to provide due process.
Ali Rahnama, thank you so much for sharing their stories. And I'm going to share with you very quickly the DHS statement in this case. These allegations that ICE shared asylum applications records with the Iranian government are false, they say. ICE meets and works to get travel documents for detainees with every country, is the Trump administration's response to this.